Alright, application for grants under pathways to STEM or science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Apprenticeship for high school career technical education students. Alright, official year 2008 U.S. Department of Education Office Career Technical Adult Education, Washington, D.C. 20202 5900. Application for grants under the Pathway STEM Apprenticeship for high school career technical education students, Department of Education, United States of America. CFDA number 84.051E. Forms approved. Office Management Budget number 1894-0006. Expiration date 1st July 31st, 2021. Closing date July 17, 2018. Alright, pre-application webinar. Important, please read this first. Background information program overview, authorization legislation, basic application information, pathway STEM apprenticeship competition design elements. 3. Application submission procedures, application instruction, electrical application format, submitting your application, addressing your questions. Appendix A, required form, standard form instructions. Appendix B, application narrative instruction, includes instruction for the ED extractive narrative, instruction for the project narrative, budget narrative, instruction for budget narrative, other attachment forms instruction. Appendix is application checklist. Additional information, 2008 Pathways of STEM Apprenticeship Grant Application Selection Criteria, Executive Order 12372, Paperwork Burden Statement. Alright, United States Department of Education Office of Career and Technical Adult Education. Dear applicant, thank you for the interesting pathway to STEM apprenticeship for the high school career technical education students. The opportunities authorized by the Section 114C Carl D. Perkinson Career Technical Educator Act of 2006, the Perkinson Act, under the Secretary authority to carry out with the capacity of building and providing the technical assistance for the career technical education programs of the Perkinson Act. They improve the career technical education programs, support the state efforts for the expand, improve the transition with the high school career technical adult education to post-secondary education element through the apprenticeship in the science, technology, energy, mathematics fields, including computer science, that begins with during the high school. Please take the time to review the Federal Register and over the inviting applications published in the Federal Register of the May 18, 2018 with the application packets early. We will need to clear understanding of the program background, absolute priority program, application requirements, definition, select criteria, the application instruction. The application will not be evaluated for funding if the application does not comply with the procedural rule for the governing submission of the application. The application does not contain the information required for the program. Edgar Statute 75.216 BC. The application to view in the initiative is just an opportunity for additional funds, but opportunities to improve career technical adult education program and student learning for the completion of the mandatory application for the government-wide website grants.gov or http://www.grants.gov to apply. To be sure ready to read the grants.gov submission procedures tips for application package for more information. We strongly urge you to familiarize yourself with the grants.gov and recommend that you register and submit your application early. The department expects to award 5 new grants under the competition. Will award grants on the competitive basis for the project period of up to 36 months. Will award on competitive basis project period up for 36 months. We invite you to attend the pre-application webinar grant initiative Thursday, June 5th, 2000 EDT, Eastern Daylight Times. You will find the registration information application package. Please email pathways to apprenticeship.edu.gov if you have any other questions. Again, thank you for the interest and competition commitment in improving the career technical educator program student learning across the country. Sincere, Sharon Miller, Director Division Academy Technical Education Office, Director of Technical Adult Education, U.S. Department of Education. All right, your pre-application webinar. The department will host an information session online designed to help interested applicants to process June 5th, 2018 at 2 p.m. EDT. We encourage these interested applicants to participate in the webinar. Participation in the webinar is voluntary. For those who are not able to attend, the training will be archived but is available to Viva link posted to the Perkins Collaborative Resource Network at For those who are not able to attend, the training will be archived and available with a link posted on Perkins Connect Collaborative Resource Network website, cte.ed.gov. Alright, your web EX link and dial information for the pre-application webinar. The registration is required for this event. Registration at educate.webex.com /educate/onstage/g.php ? MTID = and then some other grades. Event number 740746038. Password pathways. Sound and video may be accessed through your computer, but if you have technical difficulties, you can accept the audio using the file dial information. Dial 1-888-946-2710. Event number, access code 303571. The webinar will be broadcast as Viva the WebEx. Required that you download the WebEx plugin. Please note that the plugin will not install the browser with a high security securing. You do not have administrative rights. Reference and web access requirements are available here. Alright, important, please read first. Applications must be submitted through Grants.gov. The deadline submission for the application is July 17, 2018 at 4:30 p.m. Washington, D.C. time. Grants.gov submission procedure for the tip of the application. To facilitate your use of Grants.gov, the document include the important submission procedures you'll need to be aware of to ensure application received in a timely manner accepted by the Department of Education. Browser support. The latest version of Microsoft Internet Explorer, Mozilla Firefox, Google Chrome, Apple Safari are supported for the use of Grants.gov. However, the web browser undergoes the frequent changes, updates, and recommends you'll have the latest version when using Grants.gov. Legacy versions of the web browser may be functional, but you may experience issues. For additional information updates, please see Grants.gov browser information application at www.grants.gov/web/grants/application-faqs.html Alright, attention workspace, Adobe Forms, and PDF required. Grants.gov application can apply only using Workspace. Workspace is a shared online environment where members of the grant team may simultaneously access and edit differential web forms within the application. For each fundamental funding opportunity announcement, you can create an individual instance Workspace below overview with applying with the Grants.gov. To access the complete instructions on how to apply the opportunity for the Grants.gov web grants application workspace overview. Create a workspace. Create a workspace allow you to complete an online route and thoroughly organize your route in through your organization review your best submitting. Complete a workspace. Additional participation workspace to work with the application together. Complete all the required forms or by downloading PDF version. Check for the errors before submission. Workspace progress bars will display save your application process as you apply. As you apply using Workspace, you may click with the blue question mark icon near the upper right corner to each page to access with content-sensitive help. Adobe Reader. If you do not apply by filling out the web forms, you can download individual PDF forms in the Workspace. Individual PDF forms can be downloaded and saved to your local device, storage, network drive, external drives, and they are accessed through Adobe Reader. Note that visit the Adobe software compatible with page Grants.gov. Download the appropriate version of the www.grants.gov/web/grants/application Adobe software compatibility. Mandatory fields and forms. In the forms, you will note that the fields marked with an asterisk and/or different background color. These fields are mandatory. They must be completed to submit a successful application. C. The S Standard Form 424 field first. The form is designated with the field with the common required field across the other forms, such as application name, address, DUNS number, and once it is completed, the information will transfer to other forms. Submit a workspace. Application may be submitted through the workplace. Clicking on the sign and submit with the managing workspace page with the forms tab with the graphs going for the recommended with the submitting your application page in at least 24 to 48 hours prior to closing date with the provided with the time corrected potential technical issues that may disrupt application submission. Track and workspace submission. After successfully submitting the workspace application, Grants.gov, the track number is automatically assigned with the application, and the number will be listed in the information page of the generated after the submission. Either the track number as the Track My Application page of the application tab with the detailed tabs and submitted workspace. For additional training resources, include video tutorials for the Grants.gov web grants application/training.html. Helpful reminders. Register early. GrantGov's registration involves many steps, including the in registration on SamsGov, which may take approximately 1 week to complete, but could take upwards to several weeks to complete, depending on the completeness and accuracy of the data entered within the SAMS database application. You can begin with the application while completing the registration process, but you cannot submit the application with all of the but you cannot submit an application until all of the registration system steps are complete. Please note that once your SAMS registration is active, it will take about 24 to 48 hours of information available to GrantGov before you can submit an application through GrantGov. For detailed information registration, so have to go for the grantsgov.web/grant/registration. Note your organization will need to update the SAMS registration annually. Primary information about SAMS is available at SAMS.gov. However, the further assistance for obtaining with the registered DUM number, tax identification numbers, and system award management, uploading the existing system award management account for the Department of Education has prepared for the SAMS.gov tip sheet, which can be found at www.ed.gov/fund/grants and supplied at sam/FAQs.html. Submit early. We strongly recommend that you do not wait until the last day to submit your application. GrantsGov will put the time and date and time stamp on your application in the process. After fully uploaded, it takes the time to upload an application will vary depending on the number of the factors, including the size of the application, speed of your internet connection. Time it takes GrantGov to process the application will vary as well. The GrantGov will reject for your application. See step 3 below. You will need to resubmit the successful GrantGov before 4:30 p.m. Washington, D.C. time on the deadline date. Alright, note, to submit successful, you must provide the DUNS number of the application with the registered authorization or organization representative on the GrantsGov. The DUNS number is typically the same number you with the organization registered with the SAM. If you do not enter the DUNS number on your application as the DUNS registered with the GrantGov, we will reject your application. 3. Verify submission. Okay, you will want to verify that GrantsGov will receive the application submission for the time the validated is successfully to see the date and time application received with the GrantsGov. Click on the Track My Application link for successful submission, date and time received with the earlier 4:30 p.m. Washington, D.C. time on the deadline. End of the application should be validated. The receive agency tracking number assigned with the Department of Education received the application of GrantsGov. The agency track number of the PR awards number will be assigned to your application available to view with the GrantsGov Track My Application link. If the date and time received is later than 4:30 p.m. Washington, D.C., the deadline date with the application has been status of the received, they will still awaiting the validation of the GrantsGov. One validation is complete with the status of the chain to the validated rejected errors. The staff of the rejected errors where application has not been received successfully. Some of the reasons for the GrantsGov may reject application can be found with the GrantsGov site. grantsgov.web/grants/application/encountering error message. For more detailed information troubleshooting Adobe errors, you receive the Adobe Reader software tip sheet. grantsgov/web/grants/application/Adobe software compatibility. If you discover the application late but that has been rejected, see that the instructions below. Note you will receive the series that confirm information both online and via email status of your application. Please do not rely solely on the email to confirm whether your application has been received timely and valid successfully. Submission problems. What should you do? If you have problems submitted to the GrantsGov before closing date, please contact GrantsGov Customer Service 1-800-518-4726 or the email of the mail to supports@GrantGov to access GrantGov Series Knowledge Base Web Portable. grantsportal-pcs.gov. Welcome ASP PT grants. Electric submission is required. You must submit the electrical application before 4:30 p.m. Washington, D.C. unless the procedure Federal Register note the qualify other exemption electrical submission requirements. Submit no later than 2 weeks before the application deadline with a written statement of the Department of Equality for one of these exemptions. If the electronic submission is optimal, you'll have the problems that you're unable to resolve the deadline, date, time, application, electronic application, complete file, transmittal, instruction, hardware, hard copy application, Federal Register note to get a hard copy application, postmark midnight on the deadline date. See Federal Register's note of detailed instruction. Helpful hints when working with GrantGov. Please note that GrantsGov-web/grants/support is to help with the GrantsGov for additional related grants submitting grant applications. Please refer to the GrantsGov application for FAQ for the GrantsGov link, GrantsGov web/grant/applicant/applicants FAQs. Well, in addition with a GrantsGov web/grants application FAQ workspace. Alright, dial-up internet connections. Why we did not like to upload with submitting your application can take significantly longer to connect with the internet high speed with a cable modem DSL T1 when times may be vary depending on size of application take a few minutes of the hours to complete with a grant submission with a dial-up connection. If you do not access the high-speed connection, electrical submission is required. If you are considered the following instructions in the federal notice to obtain an exemption to the electrical submission requirement no later than 2 weeks before the application deadline, Federal Register notice of instruction. Or attachment files and additional tips. Please note the tips are related to attaching your files, especially requirement for the application only include the read-only Latin PDF files in your application. Ensure your attachment PDF file with the attachment of your application that must be in a read-only Latin form. PDF files are only for education approved for the type listed. Subject to detailed Federal Register of application. No application must submit the individual PDF files only in an attaching file. The application specifically the department will not accept attachments that contain files within a file, such as PDF portfolios, interactive interactive or fileable PDF. .pdf. Any attachments uploaded that are not PDF files or password protected that will be not read. GrantsGov cannot process any application that includes two or more files that have the same name with the grant submission. Therefore, each upload to your application package should have a unique file name. When attaching files, the applicant should file with the guidelines specific with the grant governance side with the content files to upload the file names be fewer than 50 characters. In general, applications should not only use the special character that with the grant governance allow with the UTF-8 characters with the name of the A through Z, A minus and capital X, A through Z, lowercase O9, underscore hyphen space period parentheses curly braces square brackets ampersand titles explanation comma semicolon apostrophes at signs number signs dollar signs percent signs plus signs equal signs. Application protected if it does not comply with the grant gov's guideline will be rejected. Grants gov now for the department application should limit the side of the attachment documents submitted to the contain the application should limit the size of their file attachment documents submitted contain graphic scan material, often greatly increase the size of file attachments and can result in difficulties opening the files. For reference, average discretionary grant application package with attachment is less than 5 megabytes. Therefore, you may want to check the total size of your package before submission. Alright, background. The Program Office of the Career and Technical Adult Education grant name Pathways to STEM Apprenticeship Highway School Career Technical Education Career Technical Education Students CFD number 84051 grant type discretion just competitive grant program. The purpose of the Pathways STEM Apprenticeship High School Career Technical Education Path of the STEM Apprenticeship to demonstrate with the support of the state efforts to expand and improve the transition to high school competitive career technical education students to post-secondary education employment through apprenticeship in science, technology, engineering, mathematics fields, including computer science during the high school. Alright, authorization and legislation. Section 114C of the Perkins Act authorizes the Secretary of Education to carry out the capacity of the building, providing technical assistance Perkins grants to award the career technical education programs under Perkins Acts. Footnote 1. All defined terms are denoted with capitals for definition Federal Register note inviting applications. Alright, 2. Basic application information. Pathway STEM Apprenticeship Grant, or federal funding number 84051E is application is available to May 18th, 2018. Pre-application information webinar potential applicants June 5th, 2008. Intent to apply June 18th, 2018. Deadline transmission application July 17th, 2018. Estimated award announcement October 1st, 2018. Notice invitating application. The full text of notice of invitating application for the official year of the 2008 Pathway STEM Apprenticeship Grant competition can be found on the Federal Register website, federalregister.gov. Documents 2018-05-18, 2018-10610. Application for the new award Pathway STEM Apprenticeship High School Career and Technical. For conveyance official year of 2008 Pathway STEM Apprenticeship notice of invitation is also posted on the PCNR website. All right, deadline. All applicants must be received on or before 4:38 Washington D.C. time on July 17, 2008. Your application must be fully uploaded and submitted. Must be dated, time-stamped, and GrantsGov system no later than 4:30 p.m. Washington D.C. on the application deadline. Late applications will not be accepted. The department is received. The department is required to enforce the established deadlines to ensure fairness to all applications. No changes and additions to applications will be accepted after the deadline date. Only application with successfully submitted by the established deadline will be peer reviewed. Application may check for the status of the application with any time of the submission before you. For the track of my application feature available with the upper right navigation of the GrantsGov site. Applications may also check the status of submission logging in with the GrantsGov account application login. After logging in application, click on the check application status. Click on the left-hand menu. Alright, the application package. Please note the Pathway STEM Apprenticeship application package is an application download used as a guide only. All and STEM pathways to STEM apprenticeship applications must be submitted electronically via the Gov. Unless the quantity of the one or more exemption with electrical submission required with the submit no later than 2 weeks before the application deadline date with a written statement the department qualified with one of these exemptions. Intent to apply. We will be able to develop more efficient process for reviewing grant applications if we can anticipate the number of applicants that intend to apply for running the operation. This way, strongly each potential application is to notify us of the application intent for the submission of the application for funding and sending a short email message. The short email message should provide the application organization name and please send the email notification pathways apprenticeship ED.gov with intent to apply subject line. Applications do not provide email. And the intent to the email subject. Applications that do not provide the email notification may still apply for funding. Apply. All applications must be submitted on electrical via the GrantsGov. Alright, pathways to STEM apprenticeship grant to competition design elements. Eligibility. The following entities are eligible to apply under this competition. State Board Design created the consonant with the state law, sole state agency responsible for administration, career, and technical educators in the state for supervision. State Board designated following entities are eligible to apply under the State Board designated created with the state law with the sole state agency responsible for administrating career technical educations or supervision administrated with the career technical education state. A consortment of entities individual eligibility under a consortment of the entities under available. Eligible applicants proposing applying for funds consortment must comply with the regulations of the Title 34 CFR 75-127 through 75-129, which address the group's application. Priority requirements. This competition includes one absolute priority will certain requirements of applicable definition of the application must address in order to be eligible for the grant application for the eligible to apply pathway STEM's apprenticeship competition will not be considered an applicant that is eligible to apply for the pathway STEM apprenticeship grant will not be considered in the funding if the department finds that it fails to meet an absolute priority or requirement of set forth in the notice of invitation of the application. For the reason we strongly each of the application respond carefully, fully, absolute priority to each requirement. Fiscal year 2008 Pathways STEM Apprenticeship Grant completion identified for the absolute priority the application must address. Promoting STEM education, particular focus with the computer science. To meet this priority, the application must propose a projected design improve the student achievement other than educational outcomes more than the following: science, technology, engineering, math, computer science. The project must be addressed with the following criteria: creating, expanding partnerships between the schools, local education agencies, state education agencies, business, nonprofit organization, institution of higher education to give the students access to internships, apprenticeships on other work boards, experience of STEM fields, including computer science. This competition includes one invitational party. Applications that respond to the invitational priority shall indicate that they have done so in the project abstract. We do not give an application that meets the invitational priority any preference over the other application. The invitational priority is rural local education agencies. The secondary is practically receiving application statewide regional application to increase the number of high school student career technical educator participating in apprenticeship in STEM fields, including computer science. During the high school, the local education agencies eligible the Assistant Small Rural School Achievement Program or Rural Low Income School unachieved with the Title V Part 5B with the Elementary Secondary Education Act of 1965, as amended by every student succeeds that act. No, and eligible applicants must determine the local education agency available for those programs by referring to the information department site with www.2.a.gov NCLB with the Freedom Local REAP HM. The competition includes 2 application requirements for the eligible application must meet in order to consider for funding. Application requirement. 1. Letter of commitment with the post-secondary partner. An application must identify the post-secondary partner and partner state education, higher education, and post-secondary education institution. And its application, including a letter of commitment from the post-secondary partner. Application requirement 2. Employee partner letter commitment. An application must include the letter commitment for each employee partner. Additional 2-part requirements for the Pathway STEM Apprenticeship Program. Program requirement number 1, partnership. A grantee must carry out the STEM Apprenticeship Grant in collaboration with at least one employer in the state committed with the implementation of the apprenticeship with 1 more post-secondary partnership such as state agency, higher education, 1 more post-secondary educational institutions. Program requirement 2. Program requirement 1. Partnership. The grantee must carry the STEM apprenticeship grant with collaboration. At least one employer with the state has committed with the implementing apprenticeship. 1 more secondary and post-secondary state agency with for higher education, more post-secondary educational institution. Alright, the program requiring implementation comprehensive STEM apprenticeship pathway strategy with a high school career technical education student. Grantee must carry out the comprehensive pathway of STEM with the strategy to seek the increased number of the college career technical educator students who participate in competency-based apprenticeship while enrolled in high school. Such strategies must be designed. Give the state, regional, and local employer leadership the role in design, expanding, and implementing the strategy. Address the barriers to participation in competency-based apprenticeship for special populations which include individuals with disability, including students with a disability receiving the Section under 501 Rehabilitation Act 1973, Section 504, commonly referred to as Section 504, only students with a disability identified with a child with disability under Section 602. 3. Individuals with disability education individual with a disability defined in Section 3 of the Americans Disability Act of 1990. B. The individual's economical disadvantaged families include foster children, individuals prepared for occupation fields work, including career with a computer technical current with the emerging high school occupation, which involves one gender compromise with at least less than 25% individual in each of the occupation field work, single parents, including single pregnant women, displaced homemaker, individuals listed in English proficiency. Such strategies may include providing technical assistance to the local educational agencies, post-secondary education institution employers, coordinate state level to multiple state level efforts for the competency-based apprenticeship opportunity with the high school career technical educator students with as though through the coordination and with the strength and apprenticeship with the industry and labor organization. A business to develop and businesses to develop competency-based apprenticeship program in new sectors in the industry. Developing, supporting development with a curricula that can be based on related to career technical education component with a competency-based apprenticeship program. Providing the support of professional development teachers, post-secondary instruction, employer training providers, other to promote development and implementation with a new competency-based apprenticeship opportunity. Support development of the implementation and articulation agreements other than the process awarded with a post-secondary accredited with the completion of the career technical educator courses or competency-based apprenticeship program, such as dual credit, and trans-credited. Providing information competency-based apprenticeship opportunity for the public, including students and their families. 7. Providing with the local educational agency, post-secondary educational institution to assist with the creating and expanding with the career technical educator to participate with the competency-based apprenticeship being in the high school. Other activities designed to increase the opportunities of high school career technical educator school students participating in competency-based apprenticeship being in the high school. And note, in addition, under Title 34 CFI 591, all grantees must operate with the evaluation of the program conduct with the permit. All grantees must cooperate in evaluation of the program conducted by the department. All right, performance methods. Pursuant to the grant performance, the result of the 1993, the department established the following presence measure for that it will evaluate the overall effectiveness of the grantee project for the Pathway STEM Apprenticeship grant as a whole. A total number of the percentage of career technical educators enrolled in the project activity during the grant period include the career technical educator students that were funded under this project grant activity. The total number of percent of the career technical educator and students enrolled with the high school participating in the apprenticeship fund under this project. A total number of the percentage career technical educators enrolled in the high school participating in apprenticeship fund under the project will also identify the end members of special population. Total number of percentage of career technical educators enrolled in high school participating in the apprenticeship fund under this project will complete a high school, and the total number of percentage of the career technical educators enrolled in the high school participating in the apprenticeship fund under whose post-secondary secondary credits during enrollment in the project. All right, footnote number two, with regard to individual disability, that will include student disability receiving services under Section 504 Rehabilitation Act 1973, Section 504, commonly referred to as Section 504, only students with disability identified as a child with a disability under 602 with the of IDEA. All right, 3. The application and submission process. The business of the department to submit the application electronic with the grant gov to have the data universal number, the number of the taxpayer identification number, that bridge for the both DUNS and tax identification number system award member, the government prior registration database, provide the DUN number, the tax identification number, application maintain the SAM's registration will current information application under the review of the department if you award the grant during the project period. Or the DUNS number. The DUNS number, the 9-digit number that does not convey the information of the recipient. The built-in check with the digit LSU for the accuracy of the DUNS number. The nth digit with each of the number check for the digit with the mathematically related with the other digits. Let's for the computer system determine the DUNS number having entered correctly. The DUNS and Bradstreet Global Information Service to provide with the assistant DUNS number for the over 43 million companies worldwide. Check with official officers for the see if this agency has been assigned with the DUNS number before contacting Dunn Street. With obtain the DUNS number at no charge of 1-800-333-0505 by completing the DUNS number request and online information at Federal Gov on the following URL: fedgov.dbn-web form. Tax identification number. Corporate entities, agencies, institution, organization obtain the tax identification number. Internal Revenue. You also need tax identification number. Please allow the 5 weeks for your tax number to become active. Same registration process takes approximately some of the day, but may take upwards of several weeks depending on the competency and the accuracy they have with the SAM's Gov of the database. The SAM Gov's registration activity may be 24 to 48 hours before access information grant Gov submitting an application to grant.
We'll be right back.
All right. If currently registered SAM, you may not need to make any changes to how to make certain the tax identification number associated with the DUNS number is correct. Note that your agency must issue the SAM's registration annually. Grants Gov. In order to submit your application with the grants, you must submit the registered application for the DUNS number organization when registered in SAM's. Be designated organization by your organization as an e-business point of contact authorization organization representative. Details of these steps are outlined in Grants Gov web registration. Further instructions, see page 5 of the Department of Grant Submission Procedures Tip for Applications. Grant Gov System Maintenance. Please keep in mind that the Grant Gov System will not be available for the evening during times listed. May 19, 21 through 21, scheduled maintenance outlet gauge product system offline, May 19th, 12 a.m. Tribal 1 production system online, May 21st, 2008. System training system offline, May 19th, online, May 21st. June 16th through 18th, scheduled maintenance production system will go offline, and June 16th, 12:01 a.m. Production stadium will go online Monday, June 18th, 2018. Training system will go offline June 18th, 2018. Will go online Wednesday, 2018. Alright, 4. Application instruction, electrical application formation. Application increase for the pathways to STEM apprenticeship grant application should thoroughly with the notice of instruction application Official year 2008, Federal Register, May 18th, 2008. Additional, including grant competition, designs, eligibility priors, requirements, performance measures, selection criteria. The NIA will orientate the application's completion, provide important background key definitions, other substantial requirements of the application process. Completing and submitting your application. Complete application consists of your components of the required forms, ED standard forms, assurance certifications. Your application narrative, the Pathway STEM Apprenticeship Grant application, use the following grant narrative formats. The ED abstractive narrative form. The abstractive narrative will provide a one-page project abstract. Specific instructions include the abstract on page 20 of this application package. Project narrative. The project narrative is where you will describe how your proposed project will meet the absolute priority of the official year of 2018 STEM Apprenticeship Note of Invitation of application. Well as the required elements. The application should include a table of contents to be sure to discuss the project and the most response selection criteria, specific instructions, page 20, application page. Budget narrative. The budget narrative is where you provide a line in item budget, ED 524, budget narrative, proposed project, budget narrative, project, and all cost proposed project. The budget should reflect the annual budget for all 3 years proposed project. The needs, special instructions included on page 22 through 25 of this package. Other attachment forms uploaded appendices. Other attachment forms where you include the application appendices, specific appendices. Instruction include page 26 of the application page, application checklist, page 27 of the application page. Application checklist is optional, however, though the application is strongly encouraged to fill out with the checklist if similar to ensure the program requirements has been addressed, ensure that program staff and peer reviewers can find information with the application addressed to each application applicable element with the national institution NIA. No, if you have multiple documents to be attached, one of them above the narratives except for the other attachments, it is recommended that you merge them into one PDF, upload them in an appropriate narrative. Addressing your question, the department provides multiple avenues to interested applicants to ask questions to classify their understanding of Pathway STEM Apprenticeship Grant process. In addition, will participate in June 5th, 2008 pre-application webinar described in page 4 of this application page. Interested applications may send their application to the Pathway Apprenticeship at ED.gov. Apprenticeship should keep in mind the department cannot provide guidance on their specific applications. A. Required forms. Application must submit along with the project narrative the required standard forms, assurance and certifications included listed below. Application Federal Assistance Standard Form 424. Please do not attach narrative supporting files application components with the standard form S424. Although the form accepts attachments, Department of Education will review only material files attached to the section labeled Other Attachment Forms. Department of Education Supplemental Information Standard Form 424. The Department of Education Budget Summary ED 524, Section A and B. Disclosure of Lobbying Activities SFLL. General Education Provisions Act GEPA Requirements Section 427. Assurance Non-Construction Programs Standard Form 424B. Grants Gov Lobbying Form 2 ED 800130 Form. Electronic copies of instruction of the required form can be downloaded with the following address: www.2.ed.gov fund grant application apply forms, so they can be funded with the grant gov submission package. Alright, B, the application narrative instructions. Instruction for the ED abstractive narrative. Eligible participant must submit with the abstract. The abstract should to be attached to a single document with the ED abstract in accordance with the instruction on the grants gov. The recommended one-page abstract limited to 2,000 characters should include the following information: a list of participating and using the partnership under the requirement. 1, summary statement of the project objective and activities. A brief description of the key of the grant fund, key use of the grant funds. Though grants govs may include more, they indicate the grant govs may include a note that includes the project abstract that not exceed one page. However, the abstract that more than one page may be uploaded. Alright, your instruction for project narrative. The narrative should be attached in a single document, protected project narrative attachment form in accordance with the instruction grant gov. Shall include the following parts in order to expedite review process. The description proposed of the project for the application would carry out. The application is funded. The application response selection criteria for the pathways to STEM appreciation. Apprenticeship, NIA identifies maximum possible score of each criterion. Application can respond to the invitational priority for the application addressed to it. The project narrative should be general matter. Follow order with the selection criteria. Have the contain clear heading with the help of the department staff, the peer reviewers with the mass narrative with the selection criteria. Because the application will be evaluated, scored against the criteria. Also, with addressing criteria, applications must be encouraged to explicit connection with the absolute priority requirements. Uploading narrative section. All other application attachments are filed with readily and non-modifiable flat and more portable document format. All fileable PDF documents must be saved in flat and non-failable flat and non-fileable files. Do not open, upload, and interactive fileable PDFs, and upload with the type of the other read-only flattened PDF, Word, Excel, etc. Submit a password project file. The Department of Reviewers will not review the material. Please note that this could result in the application not being considered for funding. Formatting guidelines. When recommended application, the line limited to section application equivalent than no more than 35 pages adhere with the following gauges. A page 8.5 by 11 inch on one side only with 1 inch margin top and bottom both sides. Double space no more than 3 lines per vertical inch. All text is application narrative that includes title, headlines, footings, quotation, reference captions, as well as the text and chart. Tables and figures and graphs. Use the front font on the either 12 point or large, no smaller than 10 pitch characters per inch. Use the following fonts: Times New Roman, Calibri, and Arial. Note, the recommended page limit does not apply to the cover sheet. The budget section includes the narrative budget justification, insurance certification, the one-page abstract, the resume, biographic, the resumes, and the bibliography of the letters of support. However, the recommended page limit does not apply with the application narrative. Alright, C, your budget narrative. The budget instruction for the budget narrative. The budget narrative should be attached with a single document of the budget narrative attachment form in accordance with the instruction of the found with the grant scope of the funds. You sure that you only with the U.S. Department of Education approve the file attached for the National Notice of Invitation application. Read only modifiable PFIs and upload protected password protected file of the application. Lengthy the file's names could result in difficulties opening and processing your application. You recommended your files be less than 50 characters. Names be less than 50 characters. In accordance with the Title 34 CFR 75232, the Department of Education staff perform a cost analysis of each project recommended with the fund with the ensure that the costs relate with the activities objective of the project reasonable, allowable, allocatable. The budget should only be include the cost of their all the way allowable, reasonable, necessary for the carry with the objection of the pathway STEM and apprenticeship project. Rules allowable costs of their set forth in Title CFR 200 was adopted by the Department in CFR 3 set 474. We may delete the review for the budget during this review. The budget narratives in each application should be considered for the Section A and B of the ED Form 524. The budget will serve to meet the requirements of Section C of the ED Form 524. It should be provided sufficient detail. Give an itemized budget breakdown for each year of the proposed project for the 36 months. Show the base of the estimating cost of the personal salaries, benefits, and project staff, material supplies, consultant, the subcontractors, and direct cost of the other projected expenditures. Shows relation between all budget balance and projected activities outcome. Show the total amount will be expended is shown with the ED Form 524. Enable the reviewers, the project staff to understand how they form in the ED Form 524 a use. Note, the annual budget period will be October 1st through September 30th of our instant of the budget year. One should include the estimated cost for October 1st, 2008 to September 30th, 2019, so forth. Further instruction for the budget narrative. The facilitate review of the budget narrative will encourage the application and the following information each of the project. Personnel provided the titles and duties each position compensated under the project and the importance of each of the position. Successful of the project provide salary each position under the project. Provide the amount over the time and source percentage of the time to be spent each position on the project. Provide the basis for the cost estimation computations. Fees and expenses of cancellation, if included, should be included with the contract or line 6. 2. Fringe benefits. Give fringe benefits procedures percentages for all personnel, including the under personnel. Include fringe benefits applied with the incentive awards and such expenditures under the personnel. Provide rate and base fringe benefits are calculated. Do not include fringe benefits. Salaries or wages are to be treated as part of the indirect cost. Leave the line blank if needed. Travel. Explain the purpose of the travel, how aligned with the project goal. The objective of who will travel. Provide the estimate of the number of the trip, the points of the origin and destination. Provide an estimated cost for each for the trip. Include 2 project representatives at the time of the annual Pathways to STEM Apprenticeship Grant Team meeting in Washington, D.C. for each year of the project. Travel. The consultant with the contractor should be included with the contractor line 6 for for equipment. While the department does not accept equipment purchase necessary for the implementation pathways down in the apprenticeship of the grant, there may be some circumstances that justify the equipment, including indicate the cost tangible, not expandable, the personal property useful and greater than 1 year acquisition, the cost lesser, the capitalization level to establish the application, and even the final statement of the $5,000 per article. The other elements might be established, maintained consistent with the application purchase policy. Indicate the type of the estimated unit cost for each of the items purchased. Provide the justification of the need of the item equipment purchased. Provide the basis for the cost for the computations. 5. Supplies. Supplies purchased for the grant award is direct benefit for the project will be necessary for achieving the project goals. Direct supplies different from the equipment, but they consumable, expandable, the relatively low unit cost to provide estimate with the summary for the nature of the expense for the general category, instruction materials, office supplies, and etc. Explain the purpose of the supply and how they relate to the project cost. Provide the basis for the cost estimate of the computations. Individual pieces of equipment under $5,000 per unit are generally considered supplies. However, they notice an example of equipment application organization may have a different equipment policy. Alright, 6. Contractor. The contractor category should include all costs specifically incurred by the action for the application of the text for the conjunction with the established internal projection procurement system, including consultant fees and expense for the travel call for the category of consultant services obtained with a written binding agreement of the contract. Describe the products to be acquired with the professional services to be provided. Provide the support with the products and services relationship project success. Contracts are not to be named in an application since contracts will be competed following the award of the grant and the application process for the application using existing contract or prior success selection of vendor for the activity support with the federal pathway STEM and apprenticeship grant with the other federal grant funds. The application must be prepared to demonstrate how it is compliant with the procurement practice described in the application information section of the application package. Additional information intended with the advantage of flexibility allowed in Title 34 CFR 75-135 in order to use a small purchase procurement procedure for the contract data collection, data analysis, evaluation, service essential service. The application should carefully review the requirements of Title 34 CFR 75-135 to ensure all required information, include the application budget narrative. Provide project cost narrative, contractor basis for the cost estimates, the professional services contract, provide amount for the time devoted for the project individual, including the cost of to be charged for the proposed granted award. 7. The construction not applicable. Other indicate all direct costs not covered in on lines 1 through 6. Indirect include cost that include the indirect cost rate loss list items identified major type of the category communication, printing, postage, equipment, rental, and etc. Provide purpose of expenditure for the relation with the proposed comprehensive strategy with the implementing terminated during the project period. Provide for the cost per item of the $500 printing, postage, $150 base for the cost estimate for the computations. Total direct cost, the sum of the total of all direct expenditure of the budget in the category system of lines 1 and 8. The indirect cost, the department reimbursed the grant's portion of the indirect cost of the grant incurred as well the administration of the project fund within the pathway STEM the apprenticeship grant with the 84051E, the file within quotes for the section 311A. Perkins 4 funds of the project must be used in supplement and non-supplement non-federal funds used to carry out the career technical education activity the project application submitting. Subplanning means for the grantees required with the use of negotiated restricted indirect cost rate with the other program. Under this program, Title 3475-563 application with a question about using restricted indirect cost rating with the program should in contact with the program concept. A person should ensure the elsewhere with the act package or the NIA. 11. Training stipend. The department does not expect training stipends to be necessary for the implementation of the pathway STEM apprenticeship. The cost associated with the professional development should include under line 8. Total costs. Sum of the total of the direct cost, the indirect costs, and stipends plus provided with the total cost of each year for the entire project per period of 36 months. Important note: the program does not require cost sharing and matching. However, the application purpose of the federal resources support the project they should be shown is applicable to the budget category. Subsection B, section 75-700, Educational Department General Administrative Regulations, Title 34 CFR 75-700 requires a guarantee to comply with the content and approve of the application. Therefore, the application is approved. The grantee is responsible for fulfilling the commitment of the funds and/or kinds resources that set forth in Section B, ED 524 and included in the application. No, about restricted indirect costs, the restricted rate of the state educational agencies are included with the state educational agencies negotiated indirect rate cost rate with the applications under supplemented, not supplement, Applications under supplement, non-supplement programs that only recover indirect costs. Restricted rates include negotiated indirect cost rate. For additional information about restricted indirect costs, go to the www.2.ed.gov about offices /list OCFO /FBIAO /ICGI and index HTML. Other attachment forms. Application should attach all the appendix to other attachment for each of the appendix application or access as to serve the PDF label each with the appendix name and upload with the file of the other attachment forms. Other attachments can support and attachment. Therefore, it's unnecessary to merge appendixes into one document. Ensure they only attach U.S. Department of Education proof of the type of the file through the pathway stem NIA. Read not identifiable PDF files. Do not upload with the password protected this file with your application protect. Please note that grants gov that cannot process an application that includes two or more files that have the same name with a grant submission. While attaching file with the application should limit the size of the file's name, and the lengthy file's name could result in difficulties opening processing your application. Recommended with your files in 50 characters. Other instruction for the appendix include the encourage the following order of the uploading information appendix, optional application requirement checklist, letters of commitment with the post-secondary partner, employee partner level of commitment, and resume of the key personnel other document, and if applicable. Alright, this showed the F8 figure 218 pathways to STEM apprenticeship applications. Applications should review the checklist only before they complete the application. Check with the schematic for application federal system with the Department of Education supplementary information standard form F424 for the both of those Department of Education budgets for summary ED 524 section A and B disclosure liabilities GPA assurances and certification GPA section 427 assurance non-construction program standard form 424B grants gov lobbying form ED 800 0013B, application narrative, the ED abstract narrative form, project narrative form, budget narrative form, other attachment form, upload apprentices here, applications and requirements letter for the commitment post-secondary partner, employee partner letter and commitment, indirect cost rate agreement. The application should attach a copy of the correct indirect cost rate agreement. Individual resume with the production director and the key personnel provide brief resume job description to describe the qualification responsibility that will carry it out under this project. Note, the eligible applicant should attach all the appendix to other attachment form of the grants gov. The system will allow the applicants to attach as many of the 10 separate appendixes for the section. However, the application curve to limit the number of the appendixes and series to responsible number of the reviewer to read. Alright, additional information, 2018 Pathways STEM and Apprenticeship, the application grant selection criteria. Application shall pay close attention to selection criteria. Applications evaluated score against the criteria. Maximum score for all criteria is 100 points. The maximum score for each criteria indicate with the parentheses and address for the criteria. The application is curved with the max. Make explicit connection priorities requirement listed elsewhere in the notice and the selection criteria for the competition as follows. Quality and project design. The security considered the quality for the project design. Determine the quality of the project design with the proposed. Secondary considered the likelihood of the projected proposed project will result in the system chain with improvement up to 15 points extent with the proposed project with the integrated with the building similar to related efforts. Improve relative occupants for the Title 34771C with the existing funding stream with the other programs or policy support with the community, state, and federal resources up to 15 points. The extent with which the services provided with the proposed project involved with the collaboration of appropriate partners maximize the effectiveness for the project services up to 15 points. Quality management plan. Secondary consider the quality management program for the proposed project determine with the quality of the management plan with the proposed project. For system consider the adequacy of the management of the achieve the object of the proposed project on time with the budget, including clearly defined responsibility timelines, milestone for the accomplishing project task. Adequacy and resource. For the secondary, consider the adequacy of the resource of the proposed project. Determine the adequacy of the resource of the proposed secondary. Consider the extent of the budget is adequate to support the proposed project up to 10 points. Relevant. Demonstrate the competency with each of the department proposed project. The implementation success of the project up to 10 points. Potential continued support of the project after the federal funding ends, including as appropriate to demonstrate a commitment with the appropriate entity to support the up to 10 points. Executive Order 12372 and Intergovernment Review of the Federal Program. The program is subject to the requirement of the Executive Order 12372 and Intergovernment Review of the Federal Programs Regulation Title 34 Part 79. Object of the Executive Order fostering an intergovernment partnership strength with the federalism relating to the state and local processes of state and local government coordinated with the review of the process final financial assistance application with the contact appropriate state signal point of contact find out or to apply with the state process Executive Order 1372 2. You may locate the name of the contact information in the state single point contact at whitehouse.gov/OMB grants SPOC. Paperwork Reduction Statement. According to the Paperwork Reduction Act of 1995, no person is required to respond to collection of information left at the collection to display for the office management budget control number the police report burden for collecting information established and estimating the 40-hour period prompt response, including time reviewing the instructions, searching existing data sources, gathering and maintaining data speed, completing with the review of the collection information, but the obligation to respond to the collection is required to obtain the retaining benefit of the volunteer. Second, comments regarding the burden estimate other aspects of the collection information, including suggestion reducing in burden with the U.S. Department of Education, 400 Maryland Avenue, Southwest Washington, D.C. 20210-537, implement email icdoc.mrger@ed.gov, or reference OMD control number 1894-0006. Please not return completed 189400 complete application to this address. Alright, and that was the reading of the U.S. Department of Education, United States Education application for the grants on Pathway STEM, this apprenticeship for the high school career technical education students.